English for Academic Study. Listening by Colin Campbell and Jonathan Smith. Copyright Garnet Publishing Limited, 2012. Unit 1. Listening and Lectures. Exercise 2.2. Listen to part 1 of a talk in which a lecturer describes some of the problems of listening. Then answer the following questions. Part 1.
Many students find listening to and understanding spoken English particularly difficult, and I think there are a number of reasons for this. Firstly, there's the speed at which people talk, and obviously when people are speaking quickly, it's more difficult to understand them. And then there's the issue of the topic that people are talking about. A topic you don't know much about is more difficult to understand than one you're familiar with. When you're listening to a familiar topic, you only need to concentrate on the new information, whereas if it's a new topic, you often have to concentrate on just about everything. There's also the problem of specialised vocabulary. There may be words you don't know. Now, if there's only a few words like this, people can generally follow the meaning. But if there are keywords or if there are a lot of unfamiliar words, then this can cause problems. But there are two additional problems you may be faced with if English is not your first language. When you're reading, you can see when one word ends and another one begins because there's a space between them. But when you're listening, you can't. You often can't hear when one word ends and another begins, so you have to pick out the words you recognise and from your understanding of the meaning, the context, and your knowledge of English grammar, fill in the gaps. And when students learn English, they're generally reading texts rather than listening to them, so they get used to the written forms of words rather than the spoken forms. But when they learn these words, they build up in their minds an expectation of their pronunciation. And when they actually hear these words in natural speech, they often fail to recognise the words because they're pronounced in an unexpected way. So, there are two problems. Firstly, it's difficult for students to know when one word ends and another begins. And secondly, they often fail to recognise words which they know in the written form.